this is the work that we do at Unity North. We come together, and it's not about the services or the talks or the songs. It's not about the social things that we do. It's not about the classes. It's all about being found, about being seen, about being known, about being respected and loved. And to know that we're in an environment where you can come in, whether you're on the top or you're on the low, and you will be seen. First service today, John Teal Robinson said this is a question that she asked all of her children, and her daughter was here, and said this meant the world to me. I want to make sure I get it right. She asked her kids when they were on the highs and when they were on their lows, what do you need? Do you need to be helped? Do you need to be hugged? Or do you need to be heard? Helped, hugged, or heard, and I thought that's exactly the work we do here at Unity. We come and we hold each other. We hold each other through the dark night of the soul. We hold and lift each other up in the wonderful moments. We hug and hold, and we listen to each other. We listen to the stories. That's the most healing thing we do. When you come in here, we want to hear your story. We want to know how you got to where you are, and we want to hold it, and we want to hear you, and then we want to help you elevate. So I invite you to keep that foundational consciousness in mind as I begin the message today. There was a naturalist, and he was driving on an old country road in the back roads of Georgia. And he was driving, and he saw a farm on his right. And he looked out, and there was a chicken coop, a chicken pen there. And he saw smack dab in the middle of all the chickens a magnificent bald eagle, a beautiful, majestic creature. And he says, I have to know what's going on. And so he pulled over, talked to the farmer, and said, what's this all about? And he said, well, you know, he came to me as an eaglet. He had no parents, no mother or father, and so I just raised him with the chickens. So he knows nothing else except to be a chicken. And the naturalist said, do you mind if I do some experimenting with it? And he said, sure, have at it. And so he grabbed the eagle around under his arm, and he went out to the edge of the chicken coop, and he said to the magnificent bird, you're an eagle. You're meant to fly. You're meant to soar and ascend the heights. Be an eagle, you're not a chicken. And he threw the eagle into the air outside the pen, and feathers ruffled everywhere, flying in the wind, and the eagle fell to the ground and began pecking at the dirt again. And he says, you know, he needs to get to a higher place. He doesn't know, it's too low, so I'm going to take the eagle all the way up to the top of the barn. And he climbed the ladder, pulled himself up to the very top of the barn, and said it again, you're an eagle. You're a majestic creature meant to soar the heights, not a chicken. Fly! And he threw the eagle into the air. And boom, ka-boom, 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 down, ruffled feathers, bumps and bruises, pecking at the ground. And then the naturalist got it. He's in a chicken environment. He has to be out of the chicken environment. And he says, can I take him to the tallest mountain, the tallest butte? And he said, go for it. And he climbed. He drove to the mountain, climbed up to the top peak he could get. And he said, it's better, my friend, that you die on the rocks below than live the rest of your life as a chicken. And then he took it, you're majestic, you're born to ascend the heights. And he took that eagle and he threw him out into the air. And for a minute, it looked like, uh-oh, uh-oh. And then the wings began to catch the air. And the eagle flew. There's no punchline, it's not a joke. The eagle began to soar and ascend the heights, to be what it had always been designed to be, and to not be a chicken anymore. It was found. You will be found. In your limited thinking, in your past that might have horrible moments in it, you will be found. And that's the work that we do here. You know, as I prepared for today's message, I thought my life has been a series of these kinds of moments when people saw in me what I could not see for myself. When people looked beneath the surface of the conditions and my stinking thinking and my limited thinking and said, let me call you out. A lot of naturalists crossed my path. And I've spent the rest of my life wanting to pay it forward. And so my invitation to you is to let me introduce you to the person I see behind your experience. That's what I want to do as a minister. Let me introduce you to the person to the experience, to the magnificent soul and spirit that's behind your eyes, behind the circumstances of your life. Here at Unity North, we are a collective group of people, all encouraging ourselves to fly. Ram Dass says it beautifully, we're all just walking each other home. But we have to get to a higher place. We have to get to a higher consciousness. We have to get to an environment that is conducive to your magnificence. I don't know about you, but we talked first service a lot about the religious system I grew up in was a chicken environment. In fact, it was encouraged. You're broken. You're stained. There's something wrong with you, and you need somebody to fix you. Yet here I came to Unity, and it was like, wow, for the first time, people are seeing me. There's a lot of retraining to do. I believed for a very long time I was nothing but a chicken, and that my destiny was going to be living in a very narrow, small world. And I remember how foreign it was when somebody looked in my eyes and said, let me introduce you to something more magnificent about yourself. You're not broken. You're not stained. You may have forgotten. Let me help remind you. And little by little, thrown off the chicken fence, thrown off the top of a barn, bruised and battered, because, sometimes we go kicking and screaming down the path of transformation. Have you noticed that? Sometimes it's kicking and screaming, and I don't know, I can't do it, I'm scared, I'm afraid, but thank God for the people who crossed my path, who saw something I could not see. And that's the work that we do here, using the principles of communal creation and collective consciousness. We're doing it for each other to help each other become. Yes? Sometimes, in this environment, sometimes you're playing the chicken. Sometimes you're playing the naturalist. Sometimes you're playing the farmer, which is keeping you in the pen. Ever anybody have people like that in your life that want to keep you in the pen and treat you like a chicken, see you only as a chicken, and don't want you to ever get out of the comfort zone? Sometimes you're the eagle. But our job here is to know that at every moment is the possibility of you being an eagle, of ascending the heights, of becoming more of yourself. It's the second unity principle that we teach for those who need a refresher course. There is a spark of divinity within you. It is called the Christ. It is called the Buddha. It's called the Atman. I don't care what you call it, but it is there. I'm going to call it an eagle today. There is that which within you that is untouched by any of your human experiences, by any of the opinions and judgments of others, or your own opinion or judgment. That is waiting, standing on the door and knocking. It says in the book of Revelation, I stand at the door and knock. This is Jesus as the Christ. That's not an external door. It's an internal door. The knocking is coming from the inside and says, please, please, please let me out. Remember who you are. We are eagles. We are not chickens. We are not the judgments of others or the limits of our own ego that wanted to hide in order to fit in. Anybody else here ever, I'm not the only one, I'm sure, just wanted to fit in? And I didn't become until I realized that I can't fit in. I will never fit in, and I'm going to be myself. It says in the Gospel of Thomas, the master teacher Jesus said it. It got kicked to the side because it didn't meet the agenda. Bring forth that which is within you, and it will give you life. But there's more to that scripture that says you don't bring it forth, and it will destroy you. So you come to the edge of a mountain experience. It's better that you die on the rocks below than live as a chicken the rest of your life. And that's when we feel the wind beneath your wings, if you will, the presence and power of that which created you, that which manifested itself as you. Last week we began a series on being. And last week the talk was be the reason. It's be the naturalist. Be the reason somebody else flourishes. Be the reason somebody else shines. Don't waste one breath or one heartbeat to tell the people around you that you're magnificent, you're holy. To find the chickens and say, I'm going to hold you, I'm going to hear you, I'm going to help you, let's fly together. But today is be courageous, because you are somebody as well. Be the reason that you flourish, and stop waiting around for somebody to drive by the farm of your limited thinking to help you do it. You be the reason that you shine. You be the reason you succeed. And there are those that would tell you, oh, that's so selfish and that's so prideful. It is ego-based if you don't do it. You were created for a reason and a purpose, a divine reason and a divine purpose. And to diminish that and not nurture those qualities, those eagle-like qualities in yourself, is a disservice to the presence of God that created you. Breathe that in for a minute. To not do that is actually ego-based, to try and just fit in. Why would you want to fit in? You know, I always say to people that if you and I think exactly alike, then one of us is indispensable or is dispensable. If we are exactly alike duplicates, then we don't need each other. But the reality is we're on a farm and we're all ascending through consciousness, collective consciousness, walking each other home, as Ram Dass puts it. Many people come to Unity North and they have that V8 moment, that light bulb moment, the epiphany, the revelation, the awakening. I remember who I am. For 62 years I had forgotten, but I came into this environment and it's like, I'm starting to remember who I am. Take your hand and put it upon your heart with me and say, I remember who I am. I know who I am. And I will not apologize for it. Now, have we always had that? Are we always able to say that? No, I haven't been. But thank God for the people who crossed my path in this environment that said, you're playing small. Is that really the way you want to think? Is that really the way you want to behave? You know, this is a hero's journey. It's a heroic journey that we're all on. And a member of a men's group told me to consider that these people that maybe annoy you, that are calling you out to a higher vibration, overlay that on the hero's journey. And we're all about on the hero's journey slaying the dragon, slaying the dragon. What if the hero's journey is that the dragon comes to you to slay who you have thought you have been your whole life? What if the hero's journey is about the dragon slaying you and your limited consciousness? What if the people that annoy you and drive you nuts and are in your face because they see behind your eyes, they see beyond your experience, they are the dragon and they're about to slay the chicken so that the eagle can ascend? What if they're about to throw you off a cliff so that you can die? I just love the amen corner. Where are you, Winifred? Where are you? Keep talking. But I want you to consider that the people in your life who see you and hold you accountable to the highest vibration are the dragons in your life, and they are necessary for the hero to be born. I remember who I am, and some of us have that realization through a service, a song, a class. But 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, it's going to be you are crossing path with somebody in this environment that says, I see you, I know you, I feel you, and this is not who you are. I don't know who you're pretending to be, but I know who you are, Chet Bertoli. I know you. And then be willing to have the same thing coming back. I know who you are, Richard Burdick. I don't know who you're pretending to be. This is a rich environment, and it's not always comfortable. Have you noticed that? It's not always comfortable here at Unity North. But I'll ask a question by a show of hands. How many of you, whether you've been coming for 20 years or you've been coming for 5 minutes, have been changed at some small level into a greater expression of your eagleness as a result of being here? Look around. That is holy. That is sacred. That is not always comfortable. But it is necessary. And the world is a better place because that person crossed your path, because you brought your light and your energy into this space. Every day, every moment, every breath. Take a breath with me. It contains a possibility for yet unrealized truths about yourself waiting to be revealed and remembered. What does it require? You got to be willing. I always like to laugh. I say one of two things happens when you come into the Unity North environment. You're either going to run out the door screaming, or you're going to grow. You're going to fly, and you're going to become. And I'm proud of that environment. And not everybody likes me for it. There are a few people that went out screaming and never came back. But there are more people that went out screaming and came back and said, maybe I'm ready now. Let's go to the mountain, and let's go to the mountain together, and let's put the wings out there, and let's see what is possible. There is, in every breath, no matter how discouraged you might be, how down you might be, or how difficult life might be, there is contained in every single breath that you breathe the possibility of you being more heroic and holier than you've ever known yourself to be. I want to introduce you to the person behind your eyes, and I want you to introduce me to the person behind my eyes. And somehow we walk each other home and lift it up. Every sage and prophet throughout time has absolutely given this counsel. Don't take my word for it. Let's go ahead and put the next slide up there with these quotes. Let's read them together. Socrates said, "Know thyself." A lot of people come into churches and they're about knowing everybody else's business. Let me get up in your face and about your business. What if the journey is only to sit here in this chair and to go, how does this resonate with what's going on in me? Know thyself. Lao Tzu, together. He who knows others is wise, but he who knows himself is enlightened. Get out of everybody else's business and start being the reason that you ascend the heights. This other one I won't have you read. Rabbi Zoysia once said this. This is what he expected on the day of judgment when he is held accountable to the life he lived on earth. He did not expect to hear, "Why were you not more like Moses?" But more, "Why were you not more like Rabbi Zoysia?" Why were you not more like Jesus? No, why were you not more like Sherry Farmer, Kim Strickland, Richard Croker? Well, Terry Croker. We've got to elevate the bar a little bit. Let's read it together. Meister Eckhart, one of my heroes, said this: "Become aware of what is in you. Announce it, pronounce it, produce it, and give birth to it." You are responsible for your life, and for too long, religion has made somebody else responsible for your eagledom. For too long, take responsibility, be the reason that you ascend, and announce it, pronounce it, produce it, and give birth to it. And there are those that will tell you, that's ego. In one ear, out the other. How dare you not live up to the magnificence of the way you were created, to the light that you were created, to the Christ that you are, and quit putting the responsibility of the flying and the shining on anybody else, let alone somebody who lived 2,000 years ago. That energy, that godness, that spirit lives in you right now, right here. Olga Roos, it is you. It is Winifred White. Last one. Let's go to the Gnostic gospel again. Religion decided that this didn't fit the narrative, so they put it aside. But the Gnostic gospels are rampant and ripe with the truth that we're teaching here. Let's read it together. When you come to know yourselves, then you will realize that it is you who are the child of the living God. You are the child. Not somebody else, not somebody 2,000 years ago. You are the child of the infinite presence of God, of the light of the world. And we've been playing small for too long. And on my watch in this church, I will not allow you to play small, and sometimes that makes me a bit of a jerk. I'm going to be the guy up in your grill, in your face. Do you want a minister that lets you play in the chicken yard and stay there and be comfortable? Or do you want a minister who sees you, who challenges you, and says, let's go to the mountain together? There's an old song that my friend Mark used to sing, and it's called, "I Got to Empty Out the Inside of My Head." Ever heard it? Here's some lyrics from that. This is the work we do here, and it's not always comfortable. I've got such a mess between my ears, like dishes in the sink. Stuff I don't believe just tumbles in till I don't have room to think. All my failures are on display, the broken dreams of yesterday, the stuff I should have thrown away, but I've kept it here inside. I've got to empty out the inside of my head. This could be a room with such a view, but it's covered up with junk, blocking off the place the light gets through, so it keeps me in this funk. The dark clouds I've stowed away just in case of a sunny day, so I could stand in the pouring rain of every tear I've ever shed. Would you like a little bit of cheese with that wine? I've got to empty out the inside of my head. For too long, many of us have rented out space between our ears for stinking thinking, for ideas and thoughts that somebody said was true about you and you claimed it as your own. You took it on as your story and your narrative for too long. Somebody said you're a chicken. That's all you are, that's all you'll ever be is a chicken. And somewhere along the line we believed that it's not the fault of the person who said it. It's the fault of the one who went unconscious and just allowed it to be in our heads and in our hearts. Stacy Charter wrote this right here. Let's go ahead and put this quote up here. I think I'm going to skip ahead maybe. No, there it is. Let's read this together. There comes a time when you have to stand up and shout, "This is me, damn it." Yes, we said it. I look the way I look, think the way I think, feel the way I feel, love the way I love. I am a whole complex package. Take me or leave me. Accept me or walk away. When you are strong enough to love yourself 100%, good and bad, you will be amazed at the opportunities that life presents you. How these things got in there is less important to me than what you're doing it. And I'm saying what we do here in this community is start an eviction process. You've rented out space in your head to untruths. And today we start an eviction process. Yes? Say that with me. Today I start an eviction process. Again, today I start an eviction process. And sometimes it takes somebody coming into your field to rub you the wrong way, to be your teacher, to be your guru, to be your catalyst for something to happen between your ears. And so let's put the next slide up there. Each of us, no, isn't there a picture of a bald head somewhere? There it is. Yeah, they're everywhere. This space for rent, and that's what a lot of us have done. We've walked through our earthly existence taking on the limited thinking of a farmer who says you're a chicken. And so I'm going to invite you to make this as your mantra this week as you step more fully into the reason that you are an eagle. Let's read it together. Stop running out space in your head to that which you know is out of alignment with your truth. Turn to somebody left and right and say that to them. All right, now let's make it personal. Because you're playing a naturalist there. I'm asking to make it personal. Be the naturalist that's speaking to the ego, that's speaking to the part of yourself that's played small, and say, today I stop running out space in my head. Put your hand on your heart, maybe put it there on that third eye, and say it at the same time together. Today I stop renting out space in my head to that which I know is out of alignment with my truth. Easy words to say, not easy to live. Say it again. Today I stop renting out space in my head to that which I know is out of alignment with my truth. Each of you is a song. You were sung into existence. As a musician and a singer, everything's vibration. Everything is vibration. That was the vibration of love when Joy sang, of truth, and it was transferred. Well, God sang you into being. A unique and beautiful, special song, and somewhere along the line you said, my song isn't good enough. Somewhere along the line you said, my song is not as good as. I reflected this week, I used to have a job as a choir director in California, and in Sacramento was a very large choir, and 2 years running we were voted the best choir in Sacramento. Yeah, I was proud of that. Now I knew the voices, I knew what we could produce. We were not the best musical choir in Sacramento. And the gospel choir down the street would have told you the same thing. That we're not the best. So what was it? Because the gospel choir came to hear us. And they go, well, that was good. Not as good as we sing. But they said, and these were all black people. So we were a bunch of white people. And there was the black choir, knowing that they outsang us. But they heard soul. And they came to me afterwards. I understand, and they said this to me, I understand why you got nominated as the best choir in Sacramento 2 years running and not us. You have something that's connected to a power and presence that is within you, and we're singing to something outside of us. Big difference. And I used to have a mantra, because everybody was welcome in that choir. Nobody was turned away. And that can create some wonderful challenges. But we used to say a prayer before every rehearsal and every performance, and we had a mantra. And this is the mantra that we used to use. There are no good voices. There are no bad voices. There's only one voice, God's voice. And we would actually do that motion. And people who had been told their whole life they could not sing said, maybe I'll put my toe into the water. And then suddenly they were a part of a massive group of people that, wow, they learned I can sing. So again, there are no good voices. There are no bad voices. There's only one voice, God's voice. Together, huh. I'm asking you to walk through your week this week. And when something happens that feels wrong or feels difficult or dark, I want you to remember that mantra. There are no good people. There are no bad people. There is only one person, God. Huh. And with the the eviction process is you're out on the street. This thought no longer belongs in the field of my consciousness, will not be in my environment, will not be in my environment here or here. You see, we have to change the environment. And until we change the environment, we will be a chicken. And we will never ascend the heights. There is a song that needs to be sung. I'm going to invite the band to go ahead and come up now. A song that absolutely needs to be sung. The universe sang you into existence. And our job is the same job of every prophet, sage, master teacher, Messiah, whatever you want to call it, is to sing that song and to sing it loudly and to sing it proudly. And to be the reason that that song does not go unheard. To be the reason that somebody's life is changed because you're singing your song. My challenge today is to stop waiting around for someone to do that for you. Take yourself and take somebody with you in this congregation to the edge of a tough decision, to the edge of a tough circumstance, a tough moment, a tough action, or a tough challenge. A challenge that's going to take you completely out of your chickendom, out of your comfort zone, and then throw yourselves over the edge. Throw yourself and the stinking thinking over the edge. Your limiting beliefs go with you. Thoughts over the edge, and release all ideas that are not founded in truth. It's a pretty scripture. With God, all things are possible. Sounds pretty, and it feels good in here, and then we go out there. No. Go to the mountain when you leave here. Don't just go to the restaurant and beat the Baptists and the Methodists to the restaurant. Go out and sit there, and they're going to wonder what you're doing. Because the Methodists and the Baptists are all going to come in, and you're going to be having a meal, and you're going to be going, hua, hua, hua. I know who I am, and I am remembering every moment, every spoonful, every thought, every breath, and every heartbeat, who I am. Practice. That's scary. That is scary as hell to do it. Then practice. Go to the fence line. Get your ruffled feathers. But you've got to get to a higher consciousness to do this. You've got to get to the top of the barn, or you're going to forever be a chicken. Go to the highest place you've ever found. Return to the mountain is what I say. There's a moment where you had a glimpse. It put you in these seats. It put you in this church where you recognized, I'm not stained. I'm not broken. I'm not a worm of the dust. I am worthy. I am holy of respect. I am worthy and holy of singing this song. And I will sing it. And I will ascend the heights. And I will live up to my eagledom. Eventually, all of us in one form or another are going to need to change the chicken environment. Somebody in this room today has been living as a chicken. Good, this is the day. Mark this day as the moment you got out of the coop. I'm going to end with a final quote, and then we'll go into meditation. This is from Martha Graham. Let's go ahead and read it together. There is a life force that is translated through you into action, and there is only one of you in all time. This expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium. It is not your business to determine how good it is or how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open.